my nephews worked for the federal government in Houston, and they laid off a lot of people. There are ways to save money, but I'm gonna tell you, public and private is totally different. And I had to learn that when I switched agencies. You know, when you're dealing with the public, when you're dealing with private, that's for profit. Well, the public is not for profit. Of course, you want to save here and there. You don't just want to spend, but the objectives are different. See, in the public, you're servicing people. And you are privately too, but you're servicing people to make a profit. And that's not the case when you're dealing with the public. Firemen are at work 24 hours, but they're not physically working the 24 hours, right? If there are no fires, how can they do what they're trained to do? They're just like a policeman. They're on their beat. They answer calls as the calls come in. But there may be times that they don't have calls, and then they're still busy. They may be cleaning their cars, maintenance on the car, if that's something that they do. But
I've been to myself, just me lately. I don't need a lot. I've been to myself, just me lately. I don't need a lot. No. Just me and the fam, few friends ain't playing. I don't speak a lot, and I can't stop. And I can't stop.
Hey y'all, another day done, hump day. I'm done. So I had to run pick up an order from Sam's. Actually, I got two. One I was supposed to pick up. I was supposed to be doing juicy cheeseburgers for my grandson, but they're not coming till tomorrow. They flew back from Massachusetts, and they were supposed to drive straight here, but my daughter said they tired. They coming tomorrow, which is fine. We got church tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna go. If I get back in time, I got to do these pickups. I might go ahead and go to church if I get back in time. If I don't, this will be my third Thursday missing. I've been going to this nail shop, and I went on a Saturday. Last week I had to go back Tuesday because I had just gotten a manicure and the whole thing. I showed y'all how that looked. So I went last Wednesday because, did I go last Tuesday? I think I went last Wednesday. But anyway, my nails are already looking rough again. Y'all see? So I'm thinking about switching nail shops. I like to go to a nail shop where I can get my eyebrows arched and everything in one place. Now the other place I used to go, sometimes they needed to upgrade their equipment. They were using those rough things to do around your nails, and one time they cut me. So that's why I stopped going there. And then like for their pedicure machine, they don't put like the little things in the pedicure machine. Why is that car sitting there? Turn, baby. And so I don't like that. It's not sanitary enough. So yeah, I got my windows down, y'all. I told y'all about trying to get fresh air, quit getting all that stuff filled with unnecessary stuff. I don't know. But anyway, it's hot, but it's not excessively. It's not like that 90 and 100 degree heat. You feel the wind blowing, real wind. So cool wind. But anyway, yeah. So I'm headed to Sam's. But I was talking, and I may have mentioned that one of my nephews worked for the federal government in Houston, and they laid off a lot of people. So I was reading an article where they said that they were laying off people, then they were having to turn around and call those same people back. Well, you know what? Don't make any decisions until you can assess the whole thing and do your little SMART analysis, your SWOT analysis and all that, and figure out what needs to be done. Because, you know, you uprooting a person's life for a day, then you calling them back. I just don't think that's fair. There are ways to save money, but I'm going to tell you, public and private is totally different. And I had to learn that when I switched agencies. You know, when you're dealing with the public, But when you're dealing with private, that's for profit. Well, the public is not for profit. Of course, you want to save here and there. You don't just want to spend. But the objectives are different. See, in the public, you're servicing people. And you are privately too, but you're servicing people to make a profit. And that's not the case when you're dealing with the public. And so coming from private to public, I had to learn that as well. You know, it's just like you look at the firemen. Firemen are at work 24 hours, but they're not physically working the 24 hours, right? If there are no fires, how can they do what they're trained to do? They're just like a policeman. They're on their beat. They answer calls as the calls come in. But there may be times that they don't have calls, and then they're still busy. They may be cleaning their cars, maintenance on the car, if that's something that they do. But it's different. It's a different in the private and public industries are totally different. Namely, profit. You know, profit-based business would be a private business. Ain't nobody ain't nobody have a private business not trying to get a profit. It ain't working like that. Because basically, if you just make it back what you spend, you can't even pay yourself. So, yeah. But there is a difference, and I think that that's what's causing some of the confusion. Yeah. But, yeah, so my grandbaby not coming. I was looking forward to seeing him. He got a cute little haircut, too. Like I saw. But anyway. Yeah, y'all, it's hot today. It is hot. But it's not that. It's like I'm not uncomfortable. And I got on this black, it's a thin black dress. It's like ribbed, but it's thin. And I have my little jacket I had on in the office. I took it off because I was hot with them, but I'm not hot here now. Yeah, so I ain't gonna keep y'all. I just wanted to come on here. Say hi. I think I might have talked to y'all this morning, but did I say this morning it was Tuesday? It's not Tuesday, today Wednesday. It's hump day. We done made it to the top of the week. Yep. And y'all, I want to tell y'all, let me go ahead and tell y'all about this too. So I was scheduled, I had a colonoscopy Friday, and then they also stretched my esophagus. Because there are times, like sometimes I'll eat beef and it'll get stuck like right here. And I told them about it. So what they did, they what they call dilation. They take this instrument and they stretch it. And oh my God, I was so sore I couldn't eat for 2 days. But so I don't know. What happened was I had talked to one of my friends, and she was telling me about, she used to work with me, and she was telling me about one of our co-workers had passed, and none of us knew about it, so nobody went to the services. But she said her nephew, ex-wife went because she's friends with the niece, but we didn't know. And so I felt really bad about that. And then she was telling me that one of her cousins had passed, and she had a colonoscopy, and they removed a polyp, and she had a blood clot, and she passed. And so I don't know, it just kind of put me in a certain type of way, and I kind of was nervous going into having a surgery. But y'all, when I got there, I wasn't nervous at all. And I know that's God's protection. And they put the IV in my arm, and usually I'm bruised up. You can actually see the little mark. I don't know if y'all can see it, where they put the IV in, but she numbed it first, so I didn't feel it. You know, I just felt a little stick when she numbed it, but when she put it in, I didn't feel it at all. And I commended her on the job well done, because sometimes it's hard to find my veins and stuff. And then she said, especially after the fact that when you do the prep for the colonoscopy, you get dehydrated, remember? Because, you know, what happens with that. But anyway, and I was just sitting and I was just thinking, you know, I got this book from this girl and I hadn't read it yet. But the title of the book is I Could Die Tomorrow, or I Could Die Today, or something. And basically what she was talking about is living your life and not living in fear and doing things that make you happy, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurting yourself, you know. And I was just thinking about that, and just thinking about my life, and, you know, being content like the Apostle Paul in any situation, and you know, waking up with my activities of my limbs and the right, no aches and pains, and you know, just life. I'm just thinking about life, y'all, and the things. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I did a little pickup at Sam's because, well, I got water. I didn't want to show y'all that. My son went ahead and put that up. But my grandbaby coming, so I got him some Kool-Aid jammers, and I got him some cheeses he can take to lunch for lunch or food. He wanted juicy burger and fries, so I got the checker fries, and I like the 8812 ground beef from Sam's. People, they work. I got this ground beef here. I like it. It's almost 5 pounds, and it's $4.78 a pound. Woo. But it's high like that in the stores too. So I got this. I like to make my meatloaf and meatballs out of it as well. And then they had the Hellman $6 and something for $64. So I basically got a gallon. But it lasts a very long time. And I got Fabuloso. I got the Mrs. Bear these hamburger buns to me feel hard. I told the girl, I said, these feel kind of hard. But the date on them is March the 28th. And I got the big thing. This is a gallon and 6/4 of Fabuloso. And it's concentrated. So, all right. That's all I got. Not very much. But things, and then some of the stuff I ordered coming in. Like they didn't have the Dial Gold soap, but they do have Dial with aloe vera, and it is antibacterial. Some of that soap break me out, but aloe vera shouldn't. I'll have to see. If it don't work, if it bothers my skin, I'm gonna have to give it to my son. But that's all I have. I'll talk to y'all later. Be blessed. Much love. Bye.
I feel the love. I feel it growing every day. I feel the love.